Man, what up? It's the Shad versus Everybody podcast, episode number 2. I got my dog.
What's happening?
When I first met him, his name was Brandon Faulkner.
Yes, sir.
But over the years, he changed it to Deysun, right?
Yes, Deysun Troo.
Deysun. So I met him Grosse Pointe North, suburban school, mostly all white at the time. It kind of changed. It seemed like when I went to a basketball game, there was a lot more black kids on the team.
Yeah.
But I met him. I came from a predominantly all black school. I'm quite sure you came from Southeastern, right?
Yes, sir.
So, number one, what was that like coming from a all black school and then transitioning to an all white school? Like basically, because it was like what 30 of us. Maybe?
Yeah. At first, I didn't want to do it. I was kind of persuaded by my father because I played football, and he told me that going to Grosse Pointe North would give me a better opportunity, I guess, to make it in football. Yeah. So prior to going to Grosse Pointe schools, the majority of the white people I saw were all like on TV and stuff.
Exactly.
And maybe like at some stores when I was out, but not around and mingling with white people. Just it was new to me. So I was uneasy, but football was my dream. So I took a chance on it. So it was a culture shock going from Southeastern to Grosse Pointe North. From just like the way that the class was, the class was overpopulated at Southeastern. We didn't really have none of the
you got like 35 people.
Yeah. Then Grosse Pointe, you got computers in classrooms. It's clean. It was a different environment. So I adjusted really quick though.
Man, the one thing I realized though, and the difference is because I went to Southeastern after I left.
Okay.
Because the reason why I left Grosse Pointe was because I got kicked out. They found out that I moved back to the city. Yeah. So once I moved back to the city, they told me I could finish the year off because it was like April. So I finished the year off and I went to Southeastern. It was like the electives. Only electives you got in Detroit Public School was health, gym. That's it. When we was at Grosse Pointe, I had TV production.
Oh, yeah. I
had advanced food.
Yeah.
Like it was so much to do there, man. Like the difference was like your first day of school there was like, how did you feel? Because my first day of school, I cried. Yeah. I went home and told my mom, like, I do not want to go back. Like,
you had my first day at Grosse Pointe. How did I feel?
Like your first day when you walked in the door, man. Your first class.
If I can remember, I guess I was a bit nervous, but kind of like I came in differently, I guess, because I came in my sophomore year to Grosse Pointe, and I had already played 2 football games with Southeastern my sophomore year. Then I transferred and played for Grosse Pointe North. So I was practicing and with the football team before I came to school.
So you already kind of got it.
Yeah, so I was kind of like, people knew me, or it was kind of like, it made people helped me to get used to being at that school. So I guess I was nervous being new, but playing football and people helped me ease into the situation.
Because my thing is, my first day, man, I'm thinking like, freshman Friday. Yeah. It was nothing like that. So my first day, I'm like, Charles, my brother. Yeah. So everybody was scared of him already. Because my first year in the Grosse Pointe school system, I was in 8th grade actually. So I went to a middle school called Parcells. Charles, he had got shot the summer before he went to Grosse Pointe. They were scared of him just off of that.
Exactly.
He the first person, he got a war wound on his arm. So I get to go to school like, Charles Thompson, my brother.
Exactly.
Off rip, nobody mess with me and nothing like that, man. So you say do the football. So coming up with football with Pal and stuff like that, who did you play with? Or what age did you start playing football?
I played with the Eastside Falcons, and I believe I started on the C team. And I think that's around 8 years old, maybe. And at first, I didn't want to play. My dad kind of like pushed me to play. I was scared. I didn't want the contact, basically. But he pushed me to play, and I remember one practice. This is on the B team because the C team I really didn't play much, but this story is about being on the B team. Okay. I was sitting at practice. Of course, I'm around the bench. So while the players are practicing, I'm on the sideline joking and playing around. And the coach, I guess he's mad about how the guys are practicing on the field. So he see me laughing and joking around. So to punish me, he tell me, "All right, get in practice, and you run the ball." So they call a play, and I believe it was a pitch. And he turned and pitched it to me, and I scored. I'm just so nervous not to get hit, but I messed around and scored. He was like, "Do it again." So they gave me the ball, and I got some good yardage again. And from that moment, I was like, "Oh shit, I'll probably be good at this." And I took it serious from that moment on. So I would say from B team on, football was my thing.
Man, that's funny because my first experience with I tried to play football, man, for the Eastside Colts. Coach Spank. So everybody was like, man, you fast. You should try to play football. I'm like, you know what? I can be like Deion Sanders or something, though. Punt return, something like that. So I started off with the B team because I was like 11, 10. Mm-hmm. So practices going good, stuff like that. But as soon as they gave us them pads, it was like, what the?
That separate the men from the boys right there.
So I remember it like it was yesterday, man. I caught a slant pass. And when I caught it, boom, just immediately got hit. And I swear to God, the practice was over with. I took my helmet and what's name, gave it to him. Like, you know what? I'm not about to hurt myself, and I love basketball too much, dog. Yeah. So that was my short-lived stint playing football, man. Like, I couldn't take it. Yeah. Because that he hit me so hard, I couldn't. I'm like, no, I'm good.
It's man. definitely a violent game.
And I was catching the bus to practice and stuff because I stayed like off by the Fago company. Mm-hmm. So I catch the bus. I'm like, man, here you go, dog. Yeah. My man like, you quitting? I'm like, yes. Like, why? I'm like, I'm good. I'm about to go hoop tomorrow. Exactly. I was at the YMCA the next day. Yeah. So you went to Southeastern for your freshman year. Mm-hmm. How did that go as far as like football and stuff?
Well, my freshman year in Southeastern was my last year playing PAL. So I didn't play because I said I wasn't going to play JV. So I'd rather play my last year in PAL.
A lot of people do that.
But when that sophomore year came around, like I said, I practiced and I played 2 games with Southeastern. And that was cool. I remember the coach, though, Tony Elliott, I never forget.
I know who that is.
He figured I was too small. Yeah. But I remember, like, the people tell, like, man, he's good, man. You know, he played for the Falcons. Man, he's good. You know, should give him a shot or whatever. But he felt like I was, you know, wasn't the kind of running back that he wanted or whatever. So I was splitting time with another guy. I forget who the other running back was, though. Mm-hmm. And after those 2 games, I left. Yeah. When I left, we ended up playing Finney again because he ended up having to go to coach at Finney. Okay. And I had one of my best games against him intentionally. So that was a cool moment too. He was once my coach, and that's almost like he didn't believe in me. Yeah, so and then I got a chance to play against him when I was at Grosse Pointe.
I remember you was a monster at Grosse Pointe, man. You was like the Barry Sanders of the school. So did you? Because I left your junior year was my last year. Mm-hmm. Did you graduate from Grosse Pointe?
Yes, barely. You know, it's funny that you say it. I remember walking across the stage, and the guy who was handing me my diploma, I didn't know who he was, but he shook my hand and said, "Good job." I guess football-wise, and he called me Butter because that's what he said.
Yeah, I remember, Butter was your
that's what they used to call me. And it was just interesting that, like, they would pass me through just because I played football, but it hurted me in the long run because my grades were too low to go to college and shit like that. So
yeah, man, because and like I said, I think that's the only reason why I graduated was those first 2 years at Grosse Pointe North. I maintained like a 2.5, mm-hmm. and for my mom that wasn't good enough. Yeah, because I was used to having National Honor Society 3.5s and stuff like that. But I got there, it was just a challenge just because I'm not around the people I'm normally being around. I'm not around the girls and stuff like that. And it kind of, you know, messed me up as far as like with everything. I'm like, I was just there just to play basketball, but the basketball coach was racist.
Yeah, exactly. And now, as an adult now, I see that sending our kids to these suburban schools, all white schools, oftentimes are a detriment to us because, like you said, we're not around things that we're familiar with. Yeah. The staff don't really know how to relate to us. It's really just like putting your child in an environment where it's going to be that much harder for them to succeed.
Yeah, because there, man, I thought I was going to be at the Black Allen Iverson game. So my 9th grade year, I couldn't try out because I broke my wrist doing tryouts. Mm-hmm. And I tried to fake it like I was okay, but my mom came up there and told the coach. So the second year I made the team, but I kept getting suspended for like quarters for the dumbest things. Like I remember I had my braids. Everybody know about the Allen Iverson braids. Mm-hmm. It's too hard to take out. Yeah. So I had like half of them out. The coach like, well, I don't want that in my practice. You gotta look good. Yeah. So then I had on some long socks. I don't want that. We gotta be professional and stuff. And then I did one little move. I don't want that Detroit ball in here. Yeah. So I remember one game he suspended me for like the first half, and I didn't get in the second half. I just took my jersey off and threw it on the court and walked away. Yeah. But I should have told the principal or somebody that this dude was a racist.
But oftentimes that wouldn't really matter because I felt like the football coach was racist too. Mm. Just in the sense of like most coaches' job is to try to help you get into school. Mm. He didn't do any of that. Yeah. So it's almost like he used me on the field, but when it was time for him to like, all right, I got to help you get into school too. Mm. He didn't care. Yeah, you know what I mean? But that's not a surprise. So again, that's why I feel like sending our kids to these schools thinking that we giving them the best opportunities, sometimes we often failing them. Because even if I would have stayed at Southeastern and would continue to progress and gotten better, that the coach would have tried to get me into school because that's what coaches do. And, you know, he relates to me, and he wants me to succeed and do well.
But see, and then on another note, like my son, we moved to Texas when he was going to kindergarten. So his school was no black people at all. Yeah. But so he was like, it might have been like a good 3 or 4 black kids in the school. And then moving back to Michigan, we used to go to school in Livonia, which is kind of mixed. So his whole childhood coming up in the school system, he kind of seen black and white. Yeah. So I don't think with him it'd be cool because he can go anywhere in the depth. Like one of his best friends are white, one of his best friends are black. Yeah. I got a question too for you, man. Speaking of this. Yeah. So his friend, this is a white dude. His name is Gage. Yeah. That's his best friend. But I noticed a couple months ago when I dropped him off. Now his mom is real cool, but his stepdad had the Confederate flag symbol on his car emblem. Yeah. And I'm like, should I stop my son from going over there?
I like, would. Shit.
But it's like the mom and the son is cool, but the dad don't stay there. Yeah. But I know it's around.
But I think though, if you with somebody who has views like that, 9 times out of 10 you have similar views too. How could you be with somebody and not share the same views? That's true. Some people are better at hiding it than others.
And then when I went over there, like, you know how you a token black kid, he's like, oh man, your son is so he a good kid and this, that, and the third, and he's not like the others, and
like what the hell is
that's why I said, like, what do that mean? Like, oh no, he's just a good kid. His manners are so good. Yeah, you know, like, what do you expect for him to come out here like, oh, he black, he gonna be a wild animal?
That's what I said, man. It's just the mentality. Not all white people have this mentality, but majority of them do because you know we all were educated in this country, and that's part of the education. You know. To pit us against each other and to think that they're superior to us, and a lot of them hold those views.
But I see.
But one thing I want to say about the Confederate flag is when I see the Confederate flag and when I see the American flag, I feel exactly the same, the same emotion.
That's true because it all represents the same thing, man. You know what I'm saying? So America is not for us really anyway. So we get into that stuff. But yeah, I like that my son can be able to, you know, be in both situations and be comfortable. Yeah. Because like I said, me and you was both uncomfortable. Yeah. My son, I coach at an all-black school. He kicking it with them. He's good.
You know what I think would have made me comfortable? Not necessarily having experience being around them, but having a knowledge of who I am. And I think knowing who I am and what I'm capable of doing will make me comfortable in any room. Yeah. And I think that's a lot of times where we fail because as parents and our parents, 9 times out of 10, they didn't and still don't know who they are. Yeah. So that's why they send us to these places thinking that they're the answer. So I think it's important to surround yourself with other people because you're going to have to be around them in the world. Oh, yeah, but it's most important to know who you are, your position and your potential, and move off that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man, that's true, man. So with the at Grosse Pointe, you say you barely passed. What was your GPA when you left?
I think 1.7.
Man,
and that's why I said, damn, you know, that hurt me. But they thinking like, you know, they doing me a favor. I remember I was a science class I had to take, and to I think to pass my senior year. And I was bull crapping in class, not really doing the work or whatever. So the teacher helped me out the class one day. He's like, man, you know you're supposed to pass this class and be able to play. He said, right now you got a D. Yeah. And I was like, damn. He was like, but I'm going to give you a C. Have a good game. Yeah. He gave me a C. I was like, cool.
I wish I had that, man. But see, back then you looking at it like, all right, bet.
Yeah, but that's hurting me.
Yeah, when you get older, man. Yeah. Okay, so one thing, man. When do you remember, now you remember the bench, right? Yeah. For those who don't know, at Grosse Pointe North, we got this area called the bench. In between classes, we have 7 minutes. Unlike Detroit Public School, you have 5. Yeah. So in them 7 minutes, we racing to the bench because everybody chopping it up, talking and stuff. Do you remember this particular time? Remember DeMario? Okay. Do you remember DeMario waited to get to the bench to fight that white dude, and he beat the hell out of that white boy and wound up becoming like a race war almost?
Nah.
Yeah, he waited to get to the bench just to show us he about to whoop this white boy ass. He whooped his ass, and Charles wound up having to get into it because he all the white boys talking about whooping DeMario ass.
Yeah, I remember Charles telling me the story not too long ago too.
He got everybody, all his Balfour boys over there off of Meringue and stuff, to come and help this dude, but he just realized once he did it, DeMario didn't have it all upstairs, like, because they showing up for him and he didn't even show up. Yeah, and they had people outside the bushes waiting for this white boy. But then he's like, hold on, man, why am I helping this dude? He's not even around. Like, it might be a little different story, but that's how it was. Like, he wound up realizing he helping him and he wasn't even around.
But that's the says thing about Charles, man. You know, he always been a guy that looks out and try to help, man. And
Charles is the one who changed me. When I first met him, I had some white and black Vin Bakers. And he was with Jordan and a green jeans with like a blue shirt. Like, though, what you doing? Like, cause my mom and his dad got together. Yeah. He changed my whole swag. I started wearing cool clothes, Nautica, Tommy Hilfiger. And we was at different schools, so whenever he take his clothes off, I'm rocking the boys next day. Same chain on. Everything. I got break. They got $5 in the pocket. I got lunch right here. I robbed you a couple times, dog.
Hey, that's what's
couple times. So after leaving Grosse Pointe North, did you attend college for football or?
After leaving Grosse Pointe North, and trying to get into college to play football, a lot of the colleges was telling me that my GPA was too low, and that I needed to go to a community college for a semester to prove that I can do college work and then transfer. So that was my plans. So I went to WC3, and within that time, you know, I didn't fall all the way out of love with football, but I kind of like, you know, lost.
It wasn't the passion.
So I went to school. And then 2 years later, I went to Kentucky State, so I said, I'm about to try it again. Maybe a year later, I said, I'm going to try it again. So I went out there, didn't take it seriously, wasn't conditioned. And that was my last chance or shot at trying to play football.
So do you have any regrets about that? Like, that you could have went harder, or do you even regret playing football, period?
No, well, I don't have any regrets because I look at my life now and where it led me to. And I think if I had played football, would I be where I'm at mentally that I am now? And I don't know that I would be. I miss, I guess, the competitive nature, and that's, I guess, why I do other things. And I would say that I miss, like, being on the field. And, you know, I feel like I got similar feelings when I perform because I've been on stages before and performed too, and it's kind of like a similar rush. So I don't have any regrets, though, no.
So you never thought about, like, coaching or going?
Yeah, I think about coaching often, actually, and wanting to help influence the kids. And I think that's why I'm pushing towards doing like a kids boot camp because I don't know if I could fit on someone else's staff. You know, I would like to try and see, but I feel like I would like to have some level of control about what's going on.
Okay. So speaking of that, man, coming up in the PAL and playing football and stuff like that, and knowing how the coaching culture is and stuff like that, did you see the whole thing with what's my man's name?
Not Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch.
Okay.
Yeah, Marshawn Lynch. Did you see the whole thing with him going off on that kid? It was a white kid. Yeah. And then he told the mom, like, he kicked him out the drill, I guess, because he wasn't performing right. Wow. So he told the mom, like, where's the father at? Yeah. And when I was, you know, getting to the story and stuff from my dog, I'm looking at it like he was telling the mom, like, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to the man so I can say how I feel about the situation without disrespecting. Yeah. And, you know, as a kid, when you in practices and stuff, if you ain't performing right, the coach get the fuck off the field. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Gonna call you all type of names. Soft ass, pussy, all that shit, get out the field. How did you feel about that whole situation?
Well, I kind of like was skimming through it, and even when he said, I saw the part when he said, "Is there a man with you?" And I didn't feel that he was saying that to say, I can't talk to you because you're a woman to express myself. Is there a man here who understands football, who understands coaching? So he and I can have a conversation where he understands he's just getting in my son's ass to help him play better, opposed to the mom who's there who maybe doesn't understand football culture, and understand getting in their son's ass because maybe she babies him and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So when I heard that part, and then of course people are gonna turn and here's this angry black man talking to this white woman,
big dude,
so they're gonna switch it as if, you know, he's being something and then when he's not. And I think he does what majority of coaches do, especially, you know, coaches in our community, and how, you know, we address that football culture. That's part of it, and I don't think it's anything that.
But that's a lot of kids growing up with these single moms, and they be in the whole sports system and just be soft as hell. Because I remember having an argument with a particular lady, and she was saying like how her son's supposed to play. Yeah. Because he's for the school, he made the team, so all 12 kids should play. Yeah. And I was saying her like, no. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, I want to win just like the kid want to win. Yeah. So if I go out there and put all 12 out, we lose, you going to bitch at me. Yeah. It's going to be some parents that's going to be unhappy. Yeah. So if you out there and you're not performing right, guess what? You're not going to play. Yeah. But if I see you in practice busting your ass and stuff, I might give you 2 minutes just for that performance you did in practice. Yeah. But if you out there, I'm putting you out there, we lose the game, I'm not gonna keep my coaching job.
Yeah.
So how do you feel like with that? Like, should it still be tough love when it comes to coaching, or should we kind of soften up a little bit?
Well, I think it depends on the philosophy of the coach. And when you say soften up, I guess, the language.
Because I say soften up just because we know a lot of these kids are growing up without fathers in the home.
Yeah, but I think then it's needed because I think, young boys who don't grow up with fathers in the home, they need discipline. And I think we can change the way in which we discipline. We can find more creative ways in which to discipline. We don't always have to physically touch or physically abuse in order to get a point across.
Yeah.
So we can reevaluate that and see what actually works, but discipline is needed. And I think that's what the problem is. The kids don't want the discipline, and the mothers, they don't want the discipline either. It's like, I think that's what the problem is.
Yeah, because Coach, I had a team, we started with 12, and I ended up with 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Just because I had one dude, then we was running too much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We doing this too much.
Yeah.
I'm like, his grandma called me like, such and such wasn't so happy with practice. I'm like, happy about what? At the end of practice, he said, y'all was doing a lot of running. I said, yeah, we was, because it was bullshitting the whole practice.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So I had to let him know, like, you're not about to come to our practice and then be thinking everything gonna be sweet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you bullshitting, that's gonna translate to the game.
Exactly. So I think oftentimes people don't understand the life lessons that are in sports and what you're trying to get across and how these lessons translate. And if you're going to be lazy or lackluster, you can't expect to have your best performance.
Yeah.
So it has to be some consequences for that. Again, I think as long as the children aren't in danger, I think parents need to let the coaches coach because that's why they give them to them. They don't have these same rights with the teachers that's misleading them and things of that nature.
And then another thing is, they can be like, well, my practice is open door as long as you ain't talking shit.
Yeah.
So you can come in there and watch. So actually watch and see what your kid's doing.
Yeah.
See if your kid's giving 50% instead of 100%.
Yeah.
And you understand, damn, my son not playing. Because if I got a 12-year-old son, and if he's in practice or he not performing right in the game, I'm not about to go to a coach. Me and my son about to work on what he can do to get right, to get more playing time.
Exactly. That lets you know how many parents are actually involved opposed to wanting to just complain.
Because I remember my little brother playing for King. He in the building. They used to get hit with a paddle. They used to get beat down with a paddle, man. So, and my mom never said nothing. And I remember one time, I guess he got his ass hit with the paddle for a dumb reason.
Yeah.
But his boy's like, dog, just get hit with the shit so you can play. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, man, you gotta have that tough love, man. And speaking of, I seen you on the another podcast with 2 young women.
Yes.
And y'all was talking about, like, I guess, like, manhood growing up and stuff like that, and how we so used to, you know what I'm saying, having their fathers and around, don't cry, don't do this. And I want to talk to you about that. Like, how do you feel, like, you got a daughter?
Yes.
I have a son. How do you feel raising your kids, like to change the whole stigma of being a tough parent and make sure, like, your kids don't grow up soft?
Yeah. I think my thing is not making sure that my kid doesn't grow up soft. Again, I think it's about making sure that my child knows who they are. I think because once you do that, everything else falls in place. And when you lose track of who you are susceptible to being all these other things. And I think that's where being soft comes in place.
Yeah.
So I think as a parent, my job is to first and foremost be a teacher to my child and to teach them, all the things that they're capable of, and to, provide them with healthy foods and to exercise them and to work them out and to train them and to instill all these things that's going to build up their confidence and all those levels. That's my job as a parent.
Yeah.
And not to say that I'm doing it so they won't be soft. I'm just trying to give them the best opportunity to be a leader and survive in this world.
Yeah, because I know growing up, you already hear parents like, don't cry.
Yeah.
Boys don't cry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or toughen up, but you can damn near break your leg off.
Yeah.
Hey, man, pick your goddamn leg up.
And that's what, the title of that episode that I was on was called Toxic Masculinity.
Yeah.
And the point that I was making on that show is that I come from a point of view that we as black people have been conditioned to be something else.
Yeah.
And we take on the thoughts and the ideas and the practices of someone else. And this hurts us. So that's where this toxic masculinity comes from. That's where this culture comes from of not expressing ourselves or being afraid to cry or you feel like we have to use physical force to get a point across. Yeah. All these things that come from someone else, and that's what the show was about. Getting rid of someone else's idea of who we are and beginning to define for ourselves who we are.
Because in a way, like the whole like discipline your son when it comes. Well, I don't have a daughter, so I can't really speak on that. Yeah. But as being a man and then raising 2 young men right now, I feel like sometimes discipline is needed, but a lot of times it's not. Sometimes I can have a conversation with my son, and he can cry.
Yeah, well, I think discipline is needed all the time. Maybe physical force is what you mean. Like you don't need to physically discipline them all the time.
Yeah, sometimes you don't really have to, but sometimes it may be needed.
Oh yes. Sometimes you gotta take that ass.
Because like I say, I feel like a lot of times with my dad. Sometimes it was needed, but sometimes I felt like he was frustrated with his life.
Exactly.
And took that shit out on me.
I think that's where that slave effect comes into place with feeling like, powerless. Yeah. And since you can't really attack the one in which attacks you, you take it on those lower than you in order to get that.
Yeah, because I'm laughing. I'm thinking about my pops, man. He'd come home, and I'm thinking like maybe he ain't making enough money, so he mad. His boss will like, man, beat your ass.
Yeah, and that's sad, man. that lets you know where that we don't have any power to feel like you can't take your frustration out on the one that's kicking your ass. Yeah. You got to come home and kick somebody's ass just so you can get that release out.
And I think that was the whole thing about my mom and pops why they broke up, because it wasn't happy in life where he was at and stuff. Now I understand that coming up now because I'm not making the money maybe that I want to make, but I also know not to come home and bring that frustration home with my fiance or my 2 kids. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If I'm in a pissed off situation, I'll just be like, let me beat myself a little bit outside, or chill on the porch or something like that. Instead of going ahead and my son like, hey Dad, you seen 2K? Shut the fuck up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. See that goes into the whole idea of toxic masculinity and really looking at ourselves and figuring out where we have issues and taking steps to address those issues, man. That's steps towards redefining who we are and not just accepting the idea of shit, it's just how I am. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I take some things that you know what I'm saying, my dad instilled in me, whatever, but I also flip it and do my own thing. I know that's gonna have my son come up the right way. Yeah. Cause like right now I haven't discipline my son in whooping style probably since he about 6 years old.
Yeah, because you create the environment to where you don't have to do that.
Because right now, like I'm good enough that I could tell him something, he understand. He understand. Like, all right, let me not mess with Dad, whatever, like that. Yeah, man. Yeah. So we was talking about your name.
Yes, sir.
So when I knew you used the artist formerly known as Brandon Faulkner.
Yes.
So you changed it to
Deysun Troo. Yeah.
Deysun Troo. So what made you do that, and like, what did you look back into some history or?
Okay.
First off, what's the meaning of Deysun Troo?
Deysun Troo means the people's son remains true. And for me, learning that, I consider myself an African, not an African American, an African, because it ties me to a land and a history bigger than myself. So in studying African history, learning that names meant something, and it either meant like who they wanted you to be, or maybe it had some type of meaning behind it. Yeah. And Brandon didn't mean anything. Yeah. I wanted a name that was to hold me accountable to stuff. And so I can't even tell you how I created it, but to know that it means the people's son remains true. So when I'm out, to conduct myself truthfully, to give what it is that I want to give. And it says the people's son, the sun is a thing that creates life, and it creates warmth, or it could be your son, like to the elders. It's like just to remind myself to be truthful and to always tell truth and speak my truth and try to impact people in a positive way. So that's why I create Deysun Troo. That's where the name came from. But what really inspired that is a speech that I heard from Malcolm X, in which he was on a talk show. It was like a white liberal talk show, and the guy was asking him, what's his name? He said Malcolm X, and the guy was kind of being like a real asshole. And he's like, well, what's your legal name? And he said basically that he didn't have to go to court to be named whatever y'all chose to name him. Yeah. So he didn't legally change his name, and saying that our names were something that denoted property to someone else, like our last name, pretty much symbolizes the people who owned us at one point in time. And so I wanted to again talk to the point about redefining who I am. I wanted the first liberating thing for me was to create a name for myself that separated me from what I felt like I once was before, and to try to lead me to who I want to become.
So how was that getting other people to not call you?
Yeah,
'cause I know moms ain't calling you.
Yeah, moms ain't budging.
She call you Brandon still.
Yeah.
So how was it like in the neighborhood with your homies, your cousins, people like that?
Yeah, for the most part, people like family members and people who I've been knowing for years, they will not call me Deysun. Man, I've been knowing you all these years. But then, new people that I've encountered since I changed my name only know me as Desun. So it's good, I think, because the new people get to see the vision in which I'm trying to create, and the people who've known me from the past begin to pay attention and understand why, it is I'm doing what I'm doing. So I feel like it's a win on both ends. I don't get offended if, people call me because, I understand, that's what I was named. Yeah, because
I didn't, So did you have to like go anything? So you didn't legally change
No,
it?
I didn't legally change it. No, it's just how I introduced myself. And all my social media, everything is how I find me. All my business cards and everything. That's how I present myself.
They seem like a chill person. Yeah, Brandon was kind of a wild boy.
He definitely was, man. He definitely was. Like I was saying earlier, that a lot of those memories I done blocked out.
So it's like you say, looking at Malcolm X stuff that made you change up. Did you want to change the name just to get rid of that past? Ways of?
No, because I don't look at it as getting rid of my past ways. I think my life that I've lived helped in shaping me into the man I am today. I had a song I wrote. It's called "Becoming a Man," and it talks about the different life experiences that I had that has helped me into becoming who I am today. A lot of things that I've done, I don't do anymore, and I recognize how they weren't the best things for me. But a lot of things that I've done, I strengthen, and I still carry with me. So again, I think every day I'm trying to be a better version of myself. Yeah. So I don't regret anything that I've ever done. But there's things I learned from mistakes that I've made. Yeah.
Okay, now you spoke about the music, man. When did you get on music, man? Because I only knew you about football and at the crazy and stuff like that. When did the music come into play, man?
All right, so I guess back in the day, I was a really shy young man, and the thing that I would do to get girls, I would write them like love notes. I would write love notes and pass them. So fast forward, I think I was about 27, so probably about 7 years ago.
Okay.
I ran into a high school friend of mine that we used to hang real tight in middle school, I should say, middle school friend. Yeah. And we just kicking it at his crib, and he just started making a beat while I was there. I said, I didn't know you made beats. He said, I used to make a beat since we was in middle school. Yeah. And I was like, why don't you send me a beat and let me write some spoken word to it or whatever. He's like, man, why don't you just try to rap? Yeah. I was like, all right. So he sent me a couple of beats. And I started trying to rap, and that wasn't 7 years ago. That was 3 years ago.
Okay.
And ever since then, I think I've created maybe 35 songs since.
For real. So you have you put any projects out, or you just put songs out at a time?
Yeah, I just put stuff on SoundCloud. I never really, and I made a music video. I never really, I guess, marketed or took it seriously. It was just
kind of something to
yeah. See, what I think about me is like I always wanted to be a teacher and teach. You know what I mean? So the music I did, I felt was like. For me to teach, so here's a platform where I can say it to a beat, but if you listen, you're probably gonna learn something, and so that's the reason why I started creating music.
Now, how is that like trying to get people to actually listen to it and learn? Because it's hard to get people attention, especially if you speaking some true stuff, man. You're not just selling what everybody else rapping about, how they on the block, how you doing this, really stuff that they're not doing.
Yeah. See, I right in this moment, it made me think about the phrase that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So I think the thing would be not to stress about whether or not they listening to it or not. Yeah. I just provide it, and those who I think who want it, they're gonna take it and gain something from it. And again, those are the people who I want to build with, because they took initiative and they took the effort. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what my thing. I was doing music. I was doing music with my homeboy, and I found myself trying to rap what he was rapping, and I have no clue about weight. You selling weight on the block. I never did that. I was in the hood, but I was never like doing hood things. Like you know what I'm saying?
Speak your truth.
Yeah. So I, it's crazy. Once he got locked up, that's when I started rapping about the stuff that I was going through. Yeah. And it was easier for me to write because I can write 3 verses easy on a song, you know what I'm saying? But now 2 because nobody want to hear 3 verses.
Yeah, that's what my homeboy said.
Yeah, but it's easier for me to write now because I'm writing about something that I'm actually going through.
Yeah.
I remember it's crazy. I write a lot of my good stuff on the toilet. Okay. So I was on the toilet and it was one particular day and I'm like, man, we broke, man. We ain't got nothing in the refrigerator. And man, we got stuff to eat, but we ain't got stuff that I want. Yeah. So I had wrote a whole song real quick just about that experience, man. Yeah. But it's crazy. So with the music, it's nothing that you're trying like to get a deal or nothing like that?
No, I don't really look at it like that. Again, I just look at trying to educate and influence in as many ways in which I can. I think that's what, my clothing line, the music that I do. Every aspect of my life revolves around me trying to deliver a message.
Okay. So and speaking of the clothing line, you got the Black Love is Power.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, we know the meaning, but what's your meaning behind the whole thing, and how did you, get started on it?
Well, I was part of an organization that fights for black self-determination globally. Mm-hmm. They have branches on the continent of Africa, in Europe, in the Bahamas, and across the United States. Okay. And, they're designed to, lead towards black self-determination. Mm-hmm. And once I left that organization, I came back to Michigan. I was trying to find a way to still continue on that message that I believed in, that, my people should be moving toward self-sufficiency and self-determination. Okay. So I figured I wanted to be creative. How can I get people to have this discussion? And our people, they like clothes.
Yeah, exactly.
So, why not try to put something together? So I had different ideas about what I wanted to do and what I wanted to say. And I thought about black power being essential, but how can I put it out there to make people comfortable with it? Because sometimes people see black power and they get uncomfortable. Yeah. So people love. So how can I incorporate the two and have it mean what it is that I'm trying to say? And I came up with Black Love is Power, which to me means that when black people begin to love themselves and each other, that's going to bring about power, because it's going to change the way in which we interact with each other. It's going to change the way in which our communities look like, the things that we strive to have in our communities. It's going to bring about that self-sufficiency and that self-determination that I think that black people need in order to solve all these problems that we are facing away from each other. You know what I mean?
So black love is not like black love with, my fiance, my wife,
it's
my
all
girl.
That.
It's all friends, homies.
Yeah, it's all that. It's
family.
It's not just romantic love, and that's what I tell people all the time. It's like the love I have for you, my brother right here. The love I have for your kids, and vice versa, man. Because they have a responsibility to each other. And I think once we begin to have that kind of mentality, it's just gonna change, man. You imagine if we felt that way about each other? Right now, it's like you pass a nigga on the street, it's like whatever, just a nigga passing on the street. But for me, I try to be conscious. I try to speak to people. I try to show I'm not a threat. You know what I'm saying? To try to again live this message and to try to get more people on board.
Yeah, because I was talking to my fiance about this, man, about the word love. And I was telling her, like, my mom, she passed away in 2012, and I told her my regret was not telling her I love her enough. Yeah. Now, I don't know, it just was something, I'm kind of weird like that. I don't know how to express myself too much or whatever like that without seeming like, of course, mushy and stuff like that. So I remember I was telling my fiance that, and I was telling her how much I respect her mom. Yeah. Because her mom played a role in my son's life as far as like a grandmother that he don't have. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to take myself from being uncomfortable, and I had expressed myself to her mom in front of her family how much I appreciate and love her for, looking out for my son and being like that grandmother figure that he doesn't have anymore. Yeah. So it's like with that, man, I think even Charlamagne was talking about in Breakfast Club, like even dudes don't tell each other, "Oh yeah, I love you, man," without seeming like you gotta put "I love you, nigga." Yeah. Like I know my brother say, "I love you, man," but like, "Love you, nigga."
Yeah, man.
You gotta make it be tough at the same time.
That goes back to us emulating someone else's culture, man. because it's nothing wrong with that shit, man. And then people say, oh, that's gay shit. You know, that shit, man, is destructive, man, and it keeps us divided.
Yeah.
Because again, once we realize that love it just doesn't mean romantic, man.
Yeah.
To me, love is an idea, and it's different from person to person. The way you may define love may be different than everybody else in this room. Shit. So to me, we gotta get out of that stigma, man, of just love somehow just thinking that it means romance with someone.
Yeah, man. So with this with the clothing line and everything, and with what you trying to achieve with this?
Well, I said my objective is to be like the hood Nike. So if I could have people wearing my attire like they wear Nike, I will feel like that's some level of success. Not necessarily financially, but of course, that's one of the goals as well.
Yeah.
But that means that the masses of people understand what it is that I'm trying to communicate, and they get it too. That's why they supporting and wearing it. So if I become the hood Nike, that means I'm succeeding in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, I like, man, because you one person that you got your clothing brand and stuff, and you represent it everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Every time I see on social media, it's on everything, man. So I like that, man.
Yeah.
So we're starting that and stuff, and do you have any mentor programs you're gonna have branching off from this? Is anything branching off from the clothing line, or just strictly clothing?
Well, as far as mentoring shit, I love to give everything I have away, man. It's not my information; it belongs to us all. But as far as like branching off, in June 1st, I actually held an event. It was called From Man to Men, Where Do Black Men Go for Support? And it was basically a get-together to talk about any and everything, whether it's stuff about your relationship, business ventures that you may have going on, or, problems, or whatever it was. It was a space. It was a safe space for us to fellowship. So, I plan on doing, like, fitness events with the kids and just everything encompassing black love and being powerful, whether that's eating right, working out, or having these kind of discussions and just everything.
And do you feel you can get the black support? Because a lot of times, man, we'll say we want to support our own, but we still going ahead and buying the white man clothing, and we'll go ahead and come together like we ain't wearing Gucci. It lasts for like 30 days, and you back rocking that.
See, what I tend to focus on is that I have been receiving support, and I'm going to continue to receive support. And again, the whole adage of that, I want to focus on the ones that are doing and not spend time worrying about the ones who not. Because there's people who have been supporting, and I know that once more people are exposed to who I am and what I'm doing, we'll support it as well too. So yeah.
And then because like the whole Nipsey Hussle thing, with his clothing brand, his shit went bananas in sales once he passed away.
Yeah.
How do you feel about his whole thing? Like, I ask everybody that, man.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's the closest thing we had to, like, when Tupac passed away, we was too young to really understand the hurt and the real effect it had on the people.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that whole situation with him, and how do you look at his situation as far as his brand and how he tried to do everything, cut the middleman out, and just, do it his own way?
Yeah. I think my first encounter of Nipsey Hussle wasn't through music. It was through an interview he gave when I heard him talking about colonialism, and talking about Africa, and talking about how, black people in the hood basically need to come together to learn about our conditions and to do something about it. So that's the first thing I heard from him, even before I heard any of his music. I didn't really start listening to his music until after he passed. I was like, let me get this brother a chance. And then I started to look into his life, and to see what he was doing. So again, I think that comes from exposure, because of course they're not gonna blast somebody like this out to the masses, because again, we are visual people and we see things, we are easily influenced by them. So once I began to study him, it's like, wow, he was a deep brother. He was about black self-determination. He was about being in control of his own affairs, and I feel that contributed in some ways to his death. And it was a tragic situation, but I think in his death, he brought life to a lot of people, because just like I said, I began to seek him out and study him, and I learned stuff from him. So in death, I think he gave life to a lot of people.
Yeah, because whenever we have like those black leaders that become too big, they wind up, getting murdered.
And this is a conversation me and one of my partners having yesterday about the idea of not having one big leader. Everybody assuming the responsibility of leadership themselves. And we all are leaders in our own ways. We just have to assume the responsibility. So So yeah, I think if we can get out of that mode of waiting for somebody to tell us what to do, and just pick up your shovel and start digging yourself.
That's true, man. Because even me with the coaching thing, I got young girls and I got young boys, and I talk to them all the time. It's not just about basketball with me. Like some practices, we might have a 30-minute talk about stuff, like especially with the girls. Mm-hmm. I got 7th, 8th grade girls, so I'm telling them what they're about to encounter once they get to the next level in high school. Yeah. How right now you a young freshman, well, about to be a freshman, but you're going to have these grown seniors, you know what I'm saying? They know they can get to you. Yeah. Oh, I'm not dating no 18. You saying that now, but you getting that door, it's going to be a whole different thing. Yeah. So like you say, we got to be leaders of our own. Yeah. That's what I try to do, man. Even if it's 4 or 5 kids, I can go ahead and change. I know I did something, you know what I'm saying, on this earth before I leave.
Yeah. See, I think that the first revolution is going to start in our minds. And once that takes place, then I think we in the right direction. And I think that's happening, man, when we can see, like, when we look out into social media and see, like, these conversations taking place, and we see the awakening of people. Another thing I attribute to that and think is Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump contributed to the awakening of black people, too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. So as far as Donald Trump, man, the whole 2020 election coming on, first, do you vote? Do you believe your vote count?
I believe that my vote would count if I voted in a block. I believe if my community all came together and sat down and decided collectively who we're going to vote for, then my vote would matter in that way. But I think when I just individually go blindly vote and keep my vote secret, that don't matter as much.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, that's the way I look at it. Like I said, since him being the president, we should come together and start doing things on our own, because we see if somebody like this can become president, this whole American shit is a joke anyway.
But the thing that I say is that the only thing I think that separates Donald Trump from a Barack Obama is that, like Malcolm X said this, one bites you with a smile, the other bites you with a growl. At the end of the day, your ass still get bit. So I think we have to pay attention to that and not get caught up in what the media does with this anti-Trump shit. The media is anti-Trump. But I think we as black people, we need to be anti-colonialism or anti the things that affect our daily lives, like, poor food in our communities, or brutality from the police, or, just impoverished conditions, or no chances for economic development. These are real life things that are affecting us, not no fucking Donald Trump and no shit like that, man.
And then that's funny, because I remember some else Charles had told me, man, we was remember hanging with him one time, man. I worked midnights and stuff, so I was, working out with him. I never work out with him again, because I was. But I went to a store, and the corner store, and I got a whole bunch of junk food. And he was like, "Man, you see how in the hood we got 2 for $1 snacks, this, that, and the third. And when you go to like these suburban stores, they have none of that stuff around. Yeah. So like I was talking to this dude at my job. Those stores are meant to destroy us. You know what I'm saying, and meant to mess up our health, because I find myself. This past week, my fiance been doing the keto, so of course I'm trying to support her, because I know I can only support by kind of helping her and not bringing in Dominoes and stuff like that. But it's hard to start off, man. It's hard to start that off and put away that bullshit you've been eating and stuff like that.
And I think that's where conditioning comes. That's why we had to be conditioned, because you have to make these people the way that we need them to be, and we have to give them these type of foods, low vibrational types of food that don't even really work to the full benefit. Just like I said, nothing that's happening is on accident. Everything has been thought about and planned. That's why you can go to any hood in any state and the shit look the same. You know what I mean?
And it's so cheap, because I'm like, man, it's so easy to eat, because you can go to a dollar menu and have dinner right there.
And then they know that we have to try to make our money stretch. So we have to make these kind of decisions. Again, all that shit is not on accident. So again, if we could come together and decide, like, you know what, you got a little bit of land over there, how about we come together and donate some time so we can plant a farm over here? Or we can start doing things that are going to make our lives easier and more healthy. Instead of just like, again, we struggle in isolation, feeling like it's just some shit, I got to figure it out. Opposed to saying, like, this is a community issue, so let's solve it as a community as well.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's for real. So with the whole black love and stuff, I know you have a kind of new to this fatherhood thing. Yes. How old is your daughter?
How old is she? Yeah. She'll be 11 months.
11 months. Yeah. Okay, and with you being a father now, had that changed anything? As far as like your way of thinking, or trying to make sure she come up?
I guess it gives me more of a responsibility feel. Because I think about, like, me now understanding the way in which this world is, like I have to give my daughter the tools in which to be able to navigate it and also to be able to do something about it as well. So I have a responsibility to her to continue to grow and develop into the best version of myself so I can be the best teacher to her. So in the sense of having a child has brought that to me, but it hasn't changed the way that I think. So yeah.
So is that scary, man? I got 2 boys. Is it scary knowing that you have a young queen you raising?
Again, I don't look at it as being scary. I walk.
I know a lot of people. Not to cut you off, but a lot of people say, "Oh man, I got a daughter. She turned 13.
No,
she's about to get real."
See, that means to me that I have a responsibility to the young men that are in my community as well. That my daughter is going to encounter. I can't just try to raise my daughter up a certain kind of way and then send her to the wolves and be like, I hope she survives. No, I got to be there with them too, educating them too, and letting them know that if you around my daughter, this is how shit going to go down. Sure. But even just being in the community, giving the young boys an example so they don't grow into like these things that we quote unquote are afraid of.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I was at work, man, and I seen a Killer Mike interview with the Breakfast Club, and he was talking about how other ethnicities, other religions, they are scorned upon if you date outside of their race. Yeah. But as black men, whenever we get a couple of dollars in our pocket, we usually turn to, not white women, whatever, outside of our race. Yeah. And how I was talking to this Arab dude, if his sister bring home a black guy, and they're kind of going to just distance themselves from her. Yeah. And I was talking to other races. How do you feel like having a daughter? She like would you kind of like have her bring her up like saying, okay, you need to stick in our race or
again? I think once my daughter has an idea and knowledge of who she is, everything else is going to fall into place. Sure. And also too, I think what's important that I learned is that we as black people, we have to date for political reasons as well too. We have to maintain our families for political reasons as well too. So we have to change the reasons why we're getting together too. Yeah. So I think that's important too, redefining our relationship.
Okay, now speaking of your relationship, I'm quite sure you're with the mother. Yeah. How is that? Do you like is you guys right now girlfriend, boyfriend, married?
Right now,
do you believe in marriage?
Right now, I consider us partners. And in a sense of, do I believe in marriage? I do believe in lifelong commitment. In that sense, as far as like being legally married, I'm not opposed to that. I understand that there's some value in being legally married, but I don't think that necessarily defines my relationship.
All right, so in relationships, man, like would you be in a relationship? I don't know how long you guys has been together. Do you find yourself like? I know with me, I've been in like 3 major relationships, and I know with the first 2, it really wasn't. I'm not gonna say it was bad. It taught me something for the relationship I'm in now. Yeah. But as a woman, do you think a woman can change you for the better? Because I say that because the girl I'm with right now, we engaged. Yeah. And I felt like being with her, it kind of encouraged me to go out and do things and be a better version of myself. Yeah. Because I believe she expect more from me because I see her, you know what I'm saying, spend her last dime to make sure the bills are paid, this, and the third. So I'm like, you know what I'm saying, we got to, you know what I'm saying, you need somebody that's going to match your hustle and your drive.
Yeah, and I think, too, it's important to have a woman that inspires you. Again, to that type, like how you said, to become the best version of yourself, because that's going to benefit everybody. That's going to benefit the entire family if you're operating at your fullest potential. Yeah. And to have a woman that understands that and is pushing you towards that is a beautiful thing.
I remember, man, I used to... coming home, I'm trying to stay out as long as I can. But now I'm like, damn, I'm trying to get back to the crib with the fam and stuff. And like, even with my oldest son, both my kids has 2 different moms. But with that relationship, it was so much arguing going on, and he's seeing that stuff and he's thinking that it's okay. Yeah. Because I know a gentleman who just got to some situations with his wife and stuff like that, and it's the stuff that you see, just like how we say being brought up and being disciplined and stuff like that. If you see your dad arguing with your mom or beating on your mom, you kind of get that. You know what I'm saying? And think that's how you're supposed to treat a woman. Yeah. And like with now, like if me and my fiance have a disagreement, hey, we don't need to be yelling like this. We could talk about some stuff instead of going crazy, yelling at each other, cussing each other out. And then my son thinking that's cool when he get older, he doing the same thing that you know what I'm saying, he see.
Yeah. And definitely I think it comes with maturity. and understanding like, this is not your enemy. This is your partner and somebody who you should be able to have a rational discussion with, even during disagreements.
Yeah, for sure. Because y'all not gonna agree on everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
So okay, man. So we gonna get out of there a little bit, man.
Okay.
I got this segment I call Top 3, man.
Okay.
So right now I know you seem like a brother to read books. Give us some knowledge on top 3 books we should be out checking out.
Man.
It's
okay.
Off the dome.
Okay, I would say the top 3 books that I feel impacted my life. One was to be Nutricide, The Nutritional Destruction of the Black Race. I think it's by Layla Africa. That was a really impactful book in my life. Okay. Another book was The Destruction of Black Civilization. That came from Chancellor Williams. And another book that I would say that really impacted me was Christianity Before Christ. And I think that came from... I can't think of the author of that book. And They Came Before Columbus was another one, but I threw 4, I guess.
All right, top 3 foods.
Top 3 foods that are good for you or good to you.
Just either.
I think for me, I think tacos would be like my number 1 food.
Yeah.
After tacos, it would probably be some type of pasta. And after pasta, it would be some type of fried fish.
Okay. Top 3 football players.
Of all time,
yeah.
Deion Sanders, Barry Sanders, and Rod Woodson.
Okay. Okay. Michael Vick got to be in that place. Yeah. All right. Top 3 basketball players.
Of all time, top 3 basketball players. Shaq would have to be, well, strictly basketball, Shaquille O'Neal, not considering Shaq's life, just basketball, Shaquille O'Neal. LeBron James, of course. And the last basketball player that I really like, would have to put in that list, would be probably Kobe Bryant.
Disrespect. Michael Jordan ain't on that list. All right, top 3 movies.
Top 3 movies. Waterboy is one of them. Face Off was another one. And the last movie, man, don't judge me, man. The Notebook, man.
Hey, that was a straight movie, though. Hey, my girl's in with a boo-hoo. Like I'm straight. All right, top 3 rappers.
Top 3 rappers. Man, interesting. I'm not a real rap dude.
It could be anything. Top 3 artists.
Okay. Top 3 artists. Of course, Michael Jackson will be one of them. What about groups? Can I throw a group in there? The Dramatics would be another group.
Okay.
And the last artist would be Prince. Michael Jackson, and the Dramatics. That's what's up. Yeah.
All right, now this is one thing I just thought about, man. Off the dome, I'm a freestyle dude like this. Album of your life coming up. Album of your life right now.
Album of my life coming up.
Like something that kind of like just
my childhood.
Yeah, somebody just remind you of your childhood. Every time you hear it, you just think back to that.
Man, ironically enough, I really blocked a lot of that stuff out. I have an album that reminds me of my transitioning.
Okay.
And that would be Sakala. And the album, is it The Thieves Banquets? I think that may be the name of the album. But that album is an album that I every time I hear it, I think about a time period in my life, and I don't think there's any other album that does that for me.
Right, you know what's funny? The album that kind of like, for me, that kind of changed me, as crazy as it sounds, is Juvenile 400 Degrees.
Yeah.
Now the reason why I say it, because first off, that's the first CD I bought with my own money.
Yeah.
That's when I first met Charles, and Charles put me up on Cash Money.
Yeah.
And just feel like that was like I transitioned a little bit from, I ain't gonna say maybe being kind of like a kid, and becoming like, a teenager.
Yeah. I think what's interesting is that Charles was the person that helped me transition too. He the one who introduced me to Akala. He the one who got me to start reading books. Interesting, the story Because Charles and I, we didn't hang out in high school. It just happened to see him at the gym like years after high school, and he commented and he said, I see some of the stuff you putting on Facebook, and it was kind of like he was agreeing with some of the stuff that I was putting. It was just basically anti-Christianity stuff.
Yeah, because y'all like the two deepest people I follow on Facebook. So.
I take that as a compliment. Thank you.
Yeah.
So he gave me a book. And he said, you should read it. But I had no intentions of reading it because I wasn't really reading books at the time. But I took it. And my other homeboy had brought some girls over. And one of the girls stole a book. I was like, who steals a book? That's crazy. So I felt bad. He gave me another book. And the book he gave me was Black Athena. It was called by Mark Bernal. And it was a book basically saying that a lot of the stuff that's attributed to the ancient Greeks, like the fathers of math, science, and all that stuff, they learned from Africans in Egypt. So it blew my mind, because I was really into Greek mythology. And to know that them out their own mouths say that they learned from African teachers, it was mind-blowing to me. Like, well, why did I know this? So it really inspired me to want to learn more about history. So I thank Charles for opening up that, that gate for me.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Charles, that's my dog, man. Yeah. He put me up on a lot of game with a lot of stuff, man. Yeah. Okay, back to the top three before we end it, man. Yeah. Top three.
Oh, before we get off the Charles segment, he told me that you lost his favorite tattoo.
Dog, that is funny. Hey, I'm gonna bring your tie, man. Hey, my girl just said that the other day. First time I put a tie on, I had Charles tie a tie already because I don't know how to tie a tie.
Yeah.
I was so used to clip-ons. I needed a tie for a Christmas dinner that my girl her job was having. Yeah. So I went over there. I tried to get a whole suit from him, but I'm like, you got a suit from, you know what I'm saying? I know you slimmed up a little bit. And but he gave me a tie. Yeah, I'm going to bring your tie, man. I got your tie at the crib. I'm going to look for it in the closet.
Yeah.
I hope I got it. All right, top three childhood crushes.
Raven Simone, Lisa Saray, and Rudy. I was actually able to meet her when I was in Miami and took a picture with her. Yeah. I'm so mad I lost that damn Facebook page because I can't find it, but I got to meet Ruby.
Man, Raven Simone was because we was we all around the same age and stuff. Yeah, I used to love her as a little kid on Cosby, hang with Mr. Cooper. But now it's like, man, what happened to you, right? Raven Simone and the Olsen twins is two girls I like.
Olsen twins.
I used to like Michelle.
Hey, you eat mayonnaise sandwiches, don't you?
I was a little kid. I was 4 years old, man. Yeah. But no, hold on. Topanga was cold.
Yeah, I keep taking that.
I eat mayonnaise sandwich with Topanga.
Yeah, she looked like no regular white woman though.
No, her and the girl from Blossom.
You know what?
6. Those are two white girls that was kind of on the black side.
You know the one white girl that I had a crush on, and the funniest thing, I heard a comedian called her Jennifer Love Huge Tits.
Man, but yeah, y'all can't dog me on the Michelle, man, because like I said, I was 5. I liked her, man.
Yeah, it's all good.
All right, man, this is a moment, man. A segment, either a high moment, drunk moment.
Yeah.
Now I'll start it off so you can think about your story.
Okay.
I'll start with my drunk moment, man. Well, it was a combination of both.
Yeah.
Shout out to my boy Reg. He was he got into some trouble. He was gonna do a couple of years stint in jail or whatever. So, of course, the weekend before you go to jail, we want to have a good time.
Yeah.
So, my mom smoked. So, I don't smoke.
Yeah.
So, my mom and my uncle, they smoking, so I'm smoking with them. My mom don't drink liquor, so I got some Moscato. So, we drinking wine, smoking. My boy get there, he bring Hennessy.
Yeah.
We drinking Hennessy in the car, and pre-gaming to the club.
Yeah.
We was going to Kingdom. So, we pre-gaming to the club, I'm drinking. Then, for some reason, that turned to, if you drink if you smoke a Black and Mild, it kind of enhance your high. Yeah. So weed, wine, Hennessy, Black and Mild. Yeah. Always before I walk into the door. So we go in, we in line. I'm like, damn, I'm kind of high. I'm messed, I'm drunk, I'm everything. So as I go inside the club, the only thing I see is heels and shoes because I can't look up. So I'm like, damn. So as we walk through the club, I'm like, dog, I'm not even gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
So we in the bathroom, and I hear my boy Reg and Wee's like, dog, Shad is messed up. Now my inside voice is like, you not that fucked up, dog. Get it right. Like, get it right. You can do this. I'm like, I can't do this. Yeah. I'm having a conversation with myself. Like, my head's still down. That's why it's down. I'm like, I can't do this shit. Like, nigga, get it right. All right. So we walk around. You do your laps around the club, see who in there, the girls and stuff. I still can't look up though. Next thing I know, we do 2 laps, and I'm like, I gotta throw up. So we right by the door. I walk out the club. I throw up. little bit of throw up giving this girl shoes or something. She cussed me. I'm gonna beat your ass. So I'm walk running to the car. I'm calling my boy Red. It's like, man, I'm texting him. Come get me. Come outside. We gotta go. His cell phone's in the back seat. Fuck. So I'm calling everybody. My little brother, like 14 at the time. I'm calling him. Like, dog, get my car. I'm calling him. Yeah. Get my car, pick me up. I think the whole time, I guess I'm talking to my mom. I call my cousin in Houston. I'm calling everybody to save me. Yeah. Now, you know the distance between St. Andrews and King High School. Yeah. It's a pretty long walk. Mm-hmm. I got for some reason, I got $400 in my pocket. Yeah. I'm walking through the King homes, all this stuff to get here. And I'm like, dog, this is crazy. I don't think I'm going to ever make it home. I'm laying up against this bank, and my mom pulls up in her Sunfire, and I'm like, dog, this is God. Yeah. I felt like it was God coming around the corner. I get home. I'm tripping all over the floor. I'm throwing up in the toilet. I took over my brother's bed, didn't wake up till 9 o'clock the next morning. My boy hit me up like, nigga, I was supposed to be like that. I'm going to jail Monday. So that was like my high drunk moment that it was just the worst moment in my life, man. Yeah.
You know, when you said something earlier, you said you had seen me out and I would always try to wrestle.
Oh, yeah. I used to see him at Plan B. And every time I seen him, he was on, I don't know if he was drinking some Absolute, but he was absolutely violent every time I seen him.
So anyway, when you said that, they made me think about this drunk moment that I'm actually not really proud of, but I'm going to explain it because, again, when you said that earlier, it made me think about it. Okay. So I remember it was about 8 of us, and we went to a club downtown. We used to party way too much. Mm. So we leaving the club, and we all drunk, but we ain't like sloppy drunk or whatever. We just drunk. And then we see it's a guy passing out flyers in the street. Mm. So we get a flyer from him or whatever. And as we get one from him, we see a guy walk, like kind of pull up in his car, hop out, and kind of like try to swing on the guy who's passing out the flyers. And so he drunk, so he missed him. So his boy got like, man, he drunk too. And then like, whatever. So we kind of walk away. And they pull up, and they hop out the car again. And he tried to swing on one of my boys. And then so my boy, he ended up hitting him. Yeah. And then his brother, this actually Dante and Montez. Okay. So Dante hand me his chain. He's like, hold my chain, man. I'm like, so I'm gonna hold your chain while you fighting. So he run over there and he started fighting. And next thing you know, I drop his chain and like we fighting in the street. Yeah. So it's a big old brawl. We like fighting in the middle of the street. And like I'm fighting with somebody and I look up, it's like a crowd surrounding us, man. Yeah. Like the police then came. And I was like, damn, I done blacked out in this fight and not even aware of my surroundings. Yeah. So to me, it was like, like I really got to stop drinking the way that I drink, man, to where like, because there's been so many moments where I just black out and I don't know what the hell going on. And then I just come to, I'm like, damn, like, what the hell is this? So yeah. So that's one of my drunk moments that you made me think about when you said I rushed. I was like, damn, we weren't fighting Rashad in the middle of the street. I said, because you said you ran up on me. I said, damn, I remember when that was.
Because I used to be down there passing out my terrible CDs because I was terrible back then. Yeah. And man, I'm like, every time I see this dude, he is messed up. Yeah. Like, this dude is want to play, want to wrestle, want to punch. I'm like, let me not see this nigga when he's drunk, dog. Cause
I think, man, oftentimes, like, we had stuff from drinking. I know, at least for me, man, it was a way to, like, not have to worry about nothing else, man. I would get messed up. Literally, like, Monday through Sunday, we was getting drunk in somebody's club, chasing somebody's daughter, man. It was just
and it's funny, man, because those are, like, I'm looking back at things like those the moments we used to live for. I know on Monday, I couldn't wait. Wednesday, you got Wild Wednesday, College Night Thursday. We had the Drews on Friday. Saturday, you hang with your girl. You don't take the time off. Sunday, you back in the club. Yeah. And that stuff that we used to just enjoy, man, just getting fucked up. And a lot of times I look back like, damn, I could have been doing so much stuff instead of looking forward to going to the club chasing the same girls that's there every weekend.
That reminded me, like, this. My dad had played the song for me. I think it was made in the 70s. And it said, Africa is burning, but Negroes here doing the freak. But it was basically talking about how, like, we just so concerned and consumed with just trying to have a good time because we trying to fucking escape something, you know what I'm saying? Instead of, like, really looking at reality, like, it's some shit that we could actually be doing instead of going getting fucked up every night, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Because I used to, man, I'm embarrassed, but I used to be just satisfied with getting unemployment. Yeah. I got unemployment for 2 years and didn't even go to school. Yeah. I'm looking back, like, those 2 years I could have got some type of associate's degree, a trade or something. I'm just getting my unemployment check, going, hanging out, buying Seagram Gin, 102. Oh, yeah. Smoking some popcorn Reggie or something. And just getting messed up. I remember the first time I smoked. Yeah. We was on our way to the club, St. Andrews, and it was like the best feeling in the world. Like, God damn. I'm high as hell and I'm drunk.
Yeah.
I go in the club. I used to always go to the club sober, then drink, then smoke. Never talk to no girls.
Yeah.
Man, I came out the club like 15 numbers. Like, damn, this what this dude? Like, this every weekend. Yeah. I'm on. Yeah, that's crazy. I'm hiding stuff for my girl at the time. I'm sitting here putting names in their cars. Really, nigga, Chrissy. Yeah. I gotta chill out, man. Like those. So I know you regret those moments a whole lot.
Well,
not necessarily regret, but just know you could have did a lot more.
Yeah, I definitely understand that I could have used my time more valuable. But again, that just lets me know today that I have to use my time more valuable.
Yeah.
But I learned from those lessons that I made to not spend my time doing all this, or that this leads to that. You know. So I take the lessons that I've learned and I try to apply them today. And then, like I said, I don't regret it. But
it's some good memories, man.
Yeah, have fun. Have fun, and then think about some of the stuff that I do. Like, man, that shit was crazy, man. And think like you did some crazy shit like that. You thought that was cool or whatever, man. Yeah. But it's learning tools, man. When we grow through it, and also too, I think about those lessons to be able to pass on to my kids and be like, listen, this is what happens when you do shit like this.
Exactly, man. You plan on having any more kids, or you?
I would like to have one more.
I know you want to try for that boy.
Yeah.
I say I want to have a girl now because I know if anything happened to me, she'd have two protectors. Two boys. Mm-hmm. So I would like to have a daughter, man. I feel like it'd be cool to raise a daughter up the way a woman should be, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think my daughter gonna be a beast though, like, cause she already feisty, man. She gonna be a beast, so I'm looking forward to those moments as well too.
Okay, man. And then as far as the brand, man, where can they go to get some clothing? I gotta go get some for the winter, man. Give me a hoodie.
All right, cool. You can follow me on Facebook, Deysun Troo. Also, I have a Black Love is Power Facebook page. It has a direct link to the website on there, which is www.blackloveispower.squarespace.com. You can also follow me on Instagram at black.love.is.power. And DM me or click the links, and that's how you can find all the merchandise and everything that I got going on.
So you gave me your Instagram and Facebook and everything? Okay, yeah. All right, cool, man. Like I said, you can follow me on everything, man. Podcast _Shad. Shad SHADD624. Facebook with Shad Sterling, man. One last thing. What, in a short sentence description, what would you tell your younger self right now?
Well, I would tell him that don't allow school to develop you to fall out of love with learning. Take the time to self-teach and pick up some books and learn something, because there's value. And I can't tell you how much I've learned in the last, I would say, 7 years just by self-studying. So self-studying and self-building is the key to everything.
Okay, sure. On that note, man, until next time, man, shout out to everybody.
Appreciate the opportunity.